Dr. Sleep, facts about this terrifying film. The terror continues even after Halloween as Warner Brothers Pictures releases the horror movie Dr. Sleep on November 8, 2019. It's expected to rank high on the Scarometer as an adaptation of a Stephen King novel, which is a big attraction for horror junkies. Here are more facts about the terrifying film that may give you sleepless nights. Number 5, it's based on Stephen King's novel. Dr. Sleep first arrived in 2013 as a novel by Stephen King, 36 years after the publication of its successful predecessor, The Shining, in 1977. King said the sequel would follow a character from the original, Danny Torrance, now in his 40s, living in New Hampshire, where he works as an orderly at a hospital and helps terminally ill patients die with the aid of extraordinary powers. Dr. Sleep was published on September 24, 2013, and reached the #1 position on the New York Times bestseller list for the combined print and ebook fiction and hardcover fiction. Subsequently, Dr. Sleep won the 2013 Bram Stoker Award for Best Novel, cementing King's stature as a preeminent author in the horror genre. It's expected, like a Hollywood tradition, that a successful Stephen King novel becomes a major motion picture in the past decades. So, Dr. Sleep now joins the ranks of other successful horror novels by King, turned into unforgettable horror films like Carrie, Children of the Corn, Pet Sematary, It, and of course, The Shining. Number 4, it's helmed by horror movie writer and director Mike Flanagan. American filmmaker Mike Flanagan was born and lived briefly in Salem, Massachusetts, yet he retained an unending interest in the Salem witch trials, ghost stories, and horror fiction. In fact, Flanagan directed Ghosts of Hamilton in 2003, post-college graduation. When he became a mainstream director, Flanagan found a niche in the horror genre, starting with Oculus in 2013, which was made from a $5 million budget but earned $44 million worldwide plus positive reviews. A bigger hit movie Flanagan helmed was 2016's Ouija, Origin of Evil, which had a global box office take of $81.7 million. Netflix released his slasher film Hush in 2016 and the psychological horror thriller movie Gerald's Game in 2017. Following their success, Flanagan created and directed the Netflix supernatural horror miniseries The Haunting of Hill House, released in October 2018, and will have a second season in 2020. For 2019, Flanagan is bringing to the big screen Dr. Sleep, which he wrote, edited, and directed just like his past movies. With a proven track record, Flanagan is set to propel Dr. Sleep to success. Number 3, Ewan McGregor leads the cast as the adult Danny Torrance. Here's an Ewan McGregor trivia. In his 25-year career, the Scottish actor has only appeared once in a horror movie, which was Night Watch in 1997. So, 2 decades after, McGregor is revisiting the horror genre in Dr. Sleep, portraying an iconic role as the adult Danny Torrance. The character first appeared as a young boy with psychic powers called The Shining in the 1980 Stanley Kubrick film The Shining, which was also based on Stephen King's eponymous novel. In Dr. Sleep, McGregor assumes the character who is now decades older, but still possesses psychic powers and struggles to live with his past while defending himself from present and future threats. The Star Wars prequel star was tapped to play the middle-aged Dan Torrance by director Mike Flanagan because McGregor could be a credible son of Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall, who played the parents in The Shining. This is aside from the fact that the 2018 Golden Globe awardee for Best Actor in a miniseries for Fargo can give justice to the challenging role, definitely. Number 2, it's a sequel to 1980's The Shining. Director Mike Flanagan himself confirms his movie adaptation of Stephen King's Dr. Sleep will be a sequel to and bridge the gap between both the 1977 novel and the 1980 horror movie, The Shining. In fact, his team had painstakingly recreated some scenes from The Shining. Set decades after alcoholic writer Jack Torrance, played splendidly by Jack Nicholson in the movie, was driven to madness at the Overlook Hotel.
A little slow tonight, isn't it?
Dr. Sleep follows his psychic son Danny as an adult. The movie basically answers the question, what happened to Danny Torrance? And audiences will see how he uses his psychic powers as he goes through different circumstances.
When I was a kid, I bumped into these things.
The Shining is quite a tough act to follow as it was commercially successful, grossing $44.4 million from a $19 million budget. Initially, it got mixed reviews, but now The Shining is widely regarded as one of the greatest horror films ever made. As for Dr. Sleep, here's an assurance from Stephen King himself. It's going to blow your mind. Number 1, it's about Danny Torrance saving a girl who also has The Shining. In Dr. Sleep, Danny Torrance becomes the sole focus 40 years after his terrifying stay at the Overlook Hotel in The Shining. Like his father Jack, Dan also struggles with alcoholism and anger management, but eventually gives up drinking and settles down in New Hampshire, working in a hospice where his psychic abilities, long suppressed by his drinking, re-emerge and allow him to provide comfort to dying patients. Aided by a cat, Azzy, that can sense when someone is about to die, Dan acquires the nickname Dr. Sleep. He develops a psychic link with a 12-year-old girl named Abra Stone who begins to manifest powers of her own when she seemingly predicts the 9/11 attacks. Dan and Abra, both gifted with extrasensory power known as the Shining, become allies and battle Rose the Hat, head of the True Knot, a cult that feeds on children with psychic powers. Joining Ewan McGregor are Rebecca Ferguson as Rose the Hat and new young star, Kylie Curran as Abra. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to our channel for your daily fix of awesome infotainment.